Sir Topham Hatt had ordered some special coaches from the mainland. He was to have a special service that ran all the way to Manchester. It was going to be hard work, but the engines were up for the challenge. The Fat Controller wondered who to put on the train. He thought about Emily and Henry, but in the end, he chose James, which made him going into a boastful mood. "I'm the most important engine on Sodor. That's the reason he didn't choose you, Henry," said James. "Well, I never ever wanted to pull that train anyways. Do you actually think it would be good for your boiler, James?" "Would you all be quiet and go to sleep?" asked Emily. "I think so. It's only a train. Also, we have work tomorrow." "You're just cross Sir Topham Hatt didn't choose you," said James. "Maybe a bit, but I still have the express to take in the morning." James knew that Gordon was jealous. Early the next morning, the Fat Controller came to see James. "Tomorrow, as you know, you will take the special train. We haven't given it an official name yet, but you shouldn't have to worry. Normal stops at Crovan's Gate, Vickerstown, and Barrow-in-Furness will still continue, and I've persuaded British Railways to add coal and water stops along the line. And tomorrow, I know you'll like this, you will get a shiny coat of paint tomorrow." "Thank you, sir. I want to look good for my big event tomorrow." And he puffed away. "Is this full time, sir?" asked Henry. "No, I think I might get a diesel engine to do it sometimes. Or maybe you might be able to do the job sometimes." Henry was relieved, not only because the braking would stop, but that multiple engines would be able to take the train. It was bright and early the next morning, and James's driver woke him up. "Wake up, James. We're going to the works to get you repainted." So quietly, James puffed out of the sheds and headed to the works. When he got there, he blew his whistle long and loud. It was so loud, it woke up the entire town of Crovan's Gate. "I'm ready for my new coat of paint!" James closed his eyes and dozed off. But the workmen were very tired and thought James needed a completely different color of paint. So they set to work. When James woke up, Sir Topham Hatt was there. "Come along, James, it's time to go." James looked at his new coat of paint and was aghast. "Black? Black? But sir, I can't go in an undercoat like this. I want everybody to see my glamorous shiny red paint. Paint me red again now." "I'm afraid there's no time. You'll just have to go with black for now, James. I'm riding with you. Hurry along now." James was furious. At the station, everyone was waiting for James to come to the platform. Everybody was admiring the new coaches. They were painted in a beautiful orange, just like the coaches used at the beginning of the railway. Then, everybody saw James. When they did, they laughed. James was very red in the face and was not happy to see anybody. Henry laughed the most. "Oh, James, you look like a black monster." "Or a black demon. I wonder if he could be a gremlin. Could you fit in Gordon's firebox?" "Oh." After Sir Topham Hatt made a speech about the train, the people got in, the guard's whistle blew, and James was off. He hoped no other engines would see him. But as he passed by, many other engines and people saw him. He passed by people taking his photo for the newspaper, and engines laughed at him as he passed on. Even the diesels on the other railway laughed at him. James was very embarrassed by this. When he returned home, still red in the face, Henry and the other engines teased him. "How was your trip with the Black Demon?" "What? Me, Thomas and Henry named it after Thomas said you looked like a black demon?" James just rolled his eyes and went to sleep. But the name stuck on the coaches even after James was repainted. Even when the other engines took the train, the name remained. And now, the Black Demon coaches are taken on even longer journeys sometimes, and to James, he thought the idea was just silly. Duck the Great Western Engine loves his branch line. He loves puffing along the branch line, which he nicknamed the Little Western. Donald, Douglas, and Oliver also liked working beside the sea. However, one night, their branch line was hit with a hurricane. It struck the island, but it struck the Little Western the most. When the hurricane was over, the branch line was a mess. Sand, branches, and other debris lay all over the track, and some parts of the line couldn't even be run on. The Fat Controller came to see the engines of the Little Western at Tidmouth Sheds. "I'm afraid the line is in need of huge repairs. The old bridge near Dilly's Pond is on the verge of breaking, tracks are bumpy and rusty, and it isn't safe for engines to run on the line. So I'm going to have to close it down until repairs are made." The engines were very sad. "However, I have gotten some new jobs for all of you. Donald and Douglas, I'm sending you two to Edward's branch line. I'm sure everyone will be happy to see you there." "Thank you, sir." "And Duck and Oliver, I'm sending you to Thomas's branch line. Mavis, the quarry diesel, has had engine issues and is getting sent to the works, and Daisy is having a checkup. The branch line is in need of some help, so you two will help the branch line engines, and I know that they will appreciate it." "Yes, sir," said Duck. "But what about Toad?" asked Oliver. "Toad may come with you. However, he will have to go on some stone trains for a few trips." "Yes, sir." "Great. That's all settled. Now, head on to your new jobs, and be careful, and go slow." As the engines puffed along the main line, it was a terrible mess. The stations were wrecked, and debris was all over the line. Soon they had to go their separate ways and said goodbye to each other. When Duck and Oliver arrived on the branch line, they had a warm reception. "We're glad you're here to help us," said Toby. "Glad to be back, I suppose," joked Duck. "Oliver, I'll meet you at the quarry. You can come with me. Duck, Thomas is helping deliver hurricane supplies, so we need you to take Annie and Clarabelle down the line. He should be back the next day, and during the next day, you shall be doing Daisy's work." So Duck coupled up to Annie and Clarabelle, and Oliver followed Toby to the quarry. Duck had a lovely time. The passengers enjoyed him, and he became popular on the branch line. Meanwhile, Oliver enjoyed his time at the quarry. He shunted trains and got them ready for engines to take out to the top station. He had gotten used to the line and enjoyed quarry work more than his usual work. "I'd be up to do this more often." "Only if Sir Topham Hatt allows you," laughed Percy. The engines enjoyed their time, but secretly, Duck missed his branch line. When Thomas came back for work, he saw Duck with Annie and Clarabelle. "Thank you for your help, Duck," said Thomas. No worries, Thomas. I'm just going to do Daisy's work for now. The passengers were put in good order." Soon Thomas was in a siding, waiting for Duck to pass by. He heard his whistle, and he puffed into the station. When the passengers went into the coaches, Duck had a sad face on. Soon the guard's whistle blew, and Duck blew a sad beep beep. Thomas was confused. When Thomas came to the shed that night, Duck was there, talking to the Fat Controller. "You have been a great help to the branch line, I've heard. I'm sure Thomas appreciates the helping hand." "Thank you, sir, but how long will it take until my branch line is done?" "It's going to take longer than expected, about 4 more weeks. Now I must be off. My wife's probably waiting for me back at home." And the Fat Controller drove off. Duck looked sad again. Thomas felt bad. "Duck, are you okay?" "Yes, Thomas, I'm fine." "Duck, you don't look happy. Please, tell me what's wrong." "All right. Well, my branch line was wrecked by the hurricane hard, and I've been working on your branch line for a while. I want to go home. It should have been ready by tomorrow. And now it's been pushed back more weeks. I'm not saying that I hate your branch line, not at all. I just want to go home. Thomas soothed him. I would probably feel the same. But don't worry, I can help you feel like you're home. You can always talk to me or anyone on the branch line in case you need any advice or talk to someone. Duck felt better. Thank you, Thomas. No worries. Now, how about I come in and you can tell me some stories about the branch line? Duck loved the idea and spent the night talking about ducks and tenders and ruined breakfast. For a few more weeks, the engines worked hard. Duck suddenly felt right back at home again. He did all his work with ease and made the branch line work like clockwork. When it was time for Duck and Oliver to leave, Thomas and Duck were sad to say goodbye. Come back again soon, said Thomas. We will, said Duck. The two engines puffed home. The Earl of Sodor is well known on the island. He owns a castle on a hill and owns many vintage and unique engines. However, he loves the Sodor railways and the engines that work on it, particularly the Skarloey Railway Engines. He always wanted to have a visit to all the sites on the railway, and Sir Topham Hatt and Mr. Percival agreed to a private tour with him. Mr. Percival told his engines at once. The Earl of Sodor, Sir Topham and I, has set up a tour, and I need one of you to take us all around the Skarloey Railway. Choose me, sir. I'm a great engine for the job, said Duncan excitedly. I'm going to decide who gets to pull it by how hard they work throughout this week. Then I shall make my decision. The engines were excited. They all worked hard, especially Duncan. He didn't argue, didn't complain about anything, even the passengers. Finally, some peace and quiet. The week passed, and the Earl was coming the next day. Mr. Percival had made his decision. All of you have worked very hard recently, and I'm proud of you. But, as I said, I can only choose one engine for the job. The engine I have chosen is... Sir Handel. Sir Handel beamed. Oh, what an honor! Thank you, sir! Duncan was surprised. But, sir, I've worked harder than him. Why wasn't I chosen? I'm sorry, Duncan. I would have chosen you, but I just didn't think that you were the right engine for the job. As for you, Sir Handel, meet me tomorrow at the station at 10 in the morning. I want you to bring a bogey coach, so we can all fit inside of it. See you then. And Mr. Percival walked away. I feel just like a king that has just started his reign of royalty over the people. I should have been the one to be chosen. You didn't do that much this week. Remember when you didn't want to pull that slate train, and I had to pull it? Well, maybe the Earl wanted me other than a grumpy engine like you. This made Duncan even crosser. Sir Handel, I know this is exciting for everything, but you must say something positive like, better luck next time. But Sir Handel didn't care. He thought about being the Earl's special engine. The next day, Sir Handel arrived at the station, and there was the Earl, Sir Topham Hatt, and Mr. Percival. Pleased to meet you, your highness. I hope that you will have a great ride. What a kind engine you are. I will most certainly. As they were puffing through the forest, Sir Handel started to feel a pain in his smoke box. But he wasn't worried. He wanted to make sure that the Earl had a great ride. His driver, however, was concerned. Sir Handel, are you okay? Your steam pressure is up to an unhealthy level. Fine, just fine. I can make it. But as they came towards Renea's station, it happened. Sir Handel's pressure was too high for him to handle, and there was a loud noise that sounded like a kettle boil. Then, steam billowed everywhere. He had burst his safety valve. That's torn it, said his driver. We need another engine now. Sir Handel felt terrible. While he couldn't say too much, He felt like that he had let everyone down. Duncan was nearby when the quarry manager came up to him. "Sir Handel is broken down. Mr. Percival wants the nearest engine to continue the journey. Since you're the closest, he wants you to take it. Reneus can take your train." Duncan was very excited. When he arrived at the site, Sir Handel was bright red in the face. "Oh dear, the king has fallen! Ring the bells!" Soon Duncan was off. The Earl had a wonderful time. He stopped at Lakeside for refreshments, saw the beautiful picnic area, and saw a lot of the engines. When they got to the station, the Earl thanked Duncan. "Even though Sir Handel broke down, you made sure the journey was still enjoyable. I shall remember you, Duncan. Come visit my castle at any time." All the engines arrived at the works to come and see Duncan and Sir Handel. Duncan was teasing Sir Handel. "Looks like Sir Handel's reign over the railway has ended. I think it might be time that I become the king." "I think it's a good time if nobody becomes the king for a while, and I don't think we need another ruler other than Mr. Percival." "King Percival!" laughed Peter Sam. All the engines laughed, even Prince Sir Handel. One day, Fergus was sitting in the yard. He was about to take a train back to the cement works. As he was resting, he noticed someone he knew. "Oi, be careful!" "Oh, shut up, you!" "Oh no, he's still here." Fergus saw a peculiar-looking Diesel. He went over to see what he was doing. "Diesel, just what do you think you're doing here?" said Fergus angrily. "I thought you worked at the scrapyards." "Well," said Diesel, "I've matured and helped with a shipment." "And how did that happen?" "Well," said Diesel, "I think I've got time." And this is the story Diesel told. Thomas was feeling ill and had to go to the works once again. The Fat Controller was in need of another engine, but the other railway had no engines to spare. It was a busy summertime too, and not many of the other engines could help either. So he had no choice but to get Diesel from the scrapyards. Diesel was brought into the branch line, and Diesel didn't expect a good first impression. Fortunately, Toby, Annie, Clarabelle, and Daisy were all very welcoming. Even Percy, which he had heard about the time Diesel helped rescue Thomas and his passengers, were very welcoming too. The Fat Controller spoke to Diesel. "You will go to the quarry and take Trux's stone down to the top station, then come back and work with Mavis." Diesel was glad to help out, but he wasn't sure about meeting Mavis. When he arrived, Mavis was shocked to see him. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I'm here to help take Trux's stone down to the top station and help shun trucks," replied Diesel. Mavis was furious. She didn't want a devious Diesel to help out with all the work. But what Mavis didn't know was that Diesel wasn't devious anymore. He pulled and shunted trucks with ease and didn't argue with anyone. However, he did show off a few times, which annoyed Mavis. She worked with Diesel for a few days when she came up with an idea. Later, she whispered to the trucks, "Can you push me after I load you guys later today?" "Yes, yes," said the trucks. Mavis smiled. "I'll show Diesel I'm much better at getting the trucks to the top station than him, and then Sir Topham Hatt will know I'm more better than him, and he'll take him away." A little later, Mavis was loading the trucks up. She reminded them, "When I load the last one of you lot, I want you to push me out of the quarry." The trucks didn't. They couldn't wait to put Mavis's plan into action. The manager was talking to Diesel when she saw Mavis rolling out of the yards. "Wait, Mavis," she called. "I need to talk with you about something very important." Mavis tried to stop, but the trucks put their plan into action. "On, on, on! Faster, faster, faster!" cried the trucks. Mavis then realized her mistake, and she headed right out of the quarry. "Oh no!" cried a horrified Diesel. "Don't worry, ma'am. I'll catch her." Mavis was going very fast. She didn't think that she could stop at the top station in time. "Help! Help!" she cried. she didn't know about the danger up ahead. The bridge that Toby had dangled on many years ago was very crooked, and engines had to go over it with care. However, today, the bridge collapsed. Mavis was going too fast to stop in time, and when she saw the danger ahead, she put her brakes on even harder. And then it happened. Luckily, no one was hurt. Diesel finally caught up and slowed down. "Goodness me," said Diesel. "Don't worry, Mavis. We'll get you out of there." Soon enough, Mavis was put back on track, and Diesel took Mavis back to the quarry. Diesel put Mavis into her shed, and the manager spoke to her. "Are you alright? How did you get in that mess?" Mavis decided to be truthful and explained everything. "I'm very disappointed with you, Mavis. Diesel has matured and he isn't devious anymore. He's shown that, albeit a few times, but he has gotten us very far with our work. You should apologize for your actions, you know," said the manager. "I'm sorry for all the trouble I've put you through today, and how rude I've been to you," said Mavis. "That's all right. I'm glad I saved you." Mavis couldn't help but smile. "Now," said the manager, "as I was saying, a big shipment is going to be coming in soon." "We were stuck on the other side for a few days until a new bridge was fixed, and then Thomas came. We all helped with a shipment, well, after we cleared out some bad fuel. And now I'm able to work on Sodor again." "Well, I see that you're a really useful engine now. I'm glad that you've matured," said Fergus. "That time, you really did it right." Just then, Philip came over.
"Fergus, your train is ready. Oh, hello, Diesel."
"Thanks, Philip. I'll be right over there. Good to chat with you, but I've got to take the cement train back to those cement works. Goodbye," whistled Fergus. Diesel smiled. It really is a wonderful railway to work on, he thought. Terrence is a tractor that works close to Thomas's line. He's always helpful to the branch line, and he is very helpful to his owner, Farmer Finley. Farmer Finley is always very protective of Terrence. He always puts him in park when he is not in use, and is very careful in letting children have a ride on Terrence. One day, Terrence was called into the top station to help clean up a mess. Percy was there as stone cars laid everywhere. "Oh dear, what happened here?"
"I was trying to make the stone cars behave, but they took me for a ride and derailed on the points."
"I'll soon get this settled." Once the work was done, Terrence spoke to Percy. "Oh, thank you, Terrence. Let's hope another runaway like that doesn't happen again." Terrence decided to give Percy some of his tractor knowledge. "Well, Percy, it won't be me who is the next runaway. You see, us tractors have something called park, while you engines are just kept with brakes, which don't seem to work during runaways. However, I am taken care of, and can't be a runaway." Percy was cross at him, and he stormed away. Terrence smiled. "Yup, that's how good tractors are." The next day, Terrence was going to market with some fresh fruit. The market was packed, and many people were there. Farmer Finley left Terrence, and he went to drop the fruit off and to buy some goods from his family. Terrence closed his eyes and dozed off. While he slept, a mother and her child came up to him.
"Mummy, look!"
"I can see the tractor, honey. It's orange."
"I want to ride it."
"Well, we've got to get home now."
"No, I'm not going until I ride it."
"I don't see the owner."
"Mom!"
"All right, you can sit on him." As the boy was on the tractor, he fiddled with the controls. Then he started up the engine. That scared him, and he and his mother went off. Terrence, unaware of the commotion, was very shocked at the sudden start. He then started to move towards the hill. He was moving because the little boy had taken him out of park. He was heading down the hill. Farmer Finley saw Terrence running on his own and quickly tried to stop him.
Stop!
Terrence then heard Farmer Finley yelling. Then he knew he wasn't being driven. He was moving on his own. "Help! Help! Someone help me!" Terrence went away from the market and towards the open country. As he was rolling, he saw a lorry and braced. The lorry swerved to try to miss Terrence, but bumped him so hard he went in a different direction. Terrence rolled onto the grass and crashed through a fence. That stopped him. Luckily, no one was hurt. Farmer Finley arrived a few minutes later. "Are you all right, Terrence?" "I'm fine. Nothing but a dent, that's all." Farmer Finley went back up to the market and called the Farquhar station master to spread the word across the line. Soon Percy arrived to collect Terrence. "How did this happen?" "Well, I was a runaway." Percy couldn't help but laugh. "It's not funny. It's a bit funny after you boasted about it." Soon Terrence was put onto the well wagon, and Percy took him to Jem Cole's, where he would fix him up in no time. After Terrence was unloaded, he had something to say to Percy. "I'm sorry for boasting, Percy. I knew I shouldn't have been like that." "No worries. It could happen not just to us, but could have happened to any other engine or vehicle. How about we just forget about this, and that it never happened?" Terrence gladly agreed.